Barbarians at the CSE.
Experts and analysts alike have highlighted the possibility of an ongoing pump and dump practice at the Colombo Stock Exchange.
There are penny stocks, useless shares being the price being driven up by members of the mafia. Essentially, A buys from B at say 20 rupees, then B buys again from A at 30 rupees, then again A buys from B at 40 rupees and so on. So what is happening is a small parcel of shares being transferred among a small group of people, but the outside, the small investor is thinking, look, this price is going up, so he's in the expectation of making a lot of money down the road, is buying into these shares. So this is still in the pumping stage. This is the pumping. What happens is, at a certain point, when the price has reached what the mafia expects it to, then they will start selling. So that is the dumping stage, which hasn't still happened. When that happens, the small investors will be stuck with a large amount of shares that has no real value.
As these market watchers pointed out, the current upward trend seen at the Colombo boards could be the result of a small group of market manipulators involved in the artificial pumping of certain shares, only to dump them on either hapless investors or state institutions trading on the floor. Dr. Harsha De Silva, who has continuously warned regulators of this unhealthy practice, spoke on how these shares, which have been artificially inflated, might be loaded off.
The funny thing though is the share that has gained the most from 213 3 days ago to 480, that is an increase of over 125%. The third largest shareholder of that particular company is no other person than the chairman of the SEC, Dr. Nalaka Godaheva himself. So these are issues that people wonder how they happen. And also, only 87 shares had changed hands on Friday, when it increased by 50%. What we have to watch out now is who's going to be buying these shares that have been artificially pumped up. Will it again be EPF, the Insurance Corporation, or NSB like it happened in the past, or will they dump it on unsuspecting investors? Either way, we will be watching.
United National Party parliamentarian Iran Bipumratna shared these sentiments.
From our past experience, we should sound a word of caution. When the share price index has been artificially being pushed up, government funds have been involved. It may be the government banks, it may be the EPF, it may be the ETF, the National Savings Bank, and so forth. And what happens in a situation of artificial manipulation is that those connected, well connected, the so-called mafia could unload their losses on government institutions, turning themselves back into profitability. When that happens, it is those who have invested their life savings in those government funds or put their savings in those national banks, those are the ones who can lose out, because the losses will be transferred to those government institutions, and the small investor could suffer. So when we see an artificial move in the all share price index, it's a time to be cautious, to see whether these are transparent moves, whether they are sustainable over a period of time before we actively participate in the share market.
The Colombo Stock Exchange is an important barometer by which the nation's economy is gauged by international investors. Allegations of impropriety and manipulation cannot be ignored. According to market analysts, the reputation of Sri Lanka's position as a nation set for accelerated economic growth rests on the shoulders of sound regulation that could curb manipulation and promote healthy, sustainable growth.
Barbarians at the CSE.
A controversial situation rises after the National Savings Bank purchases shares of the finance company. Bank employees engaged in a protest stating that discrepancies have arisen with regard to the transaction. Chairman of the NSP resigns from his post.
සභාපතිවරයා ඉල්ලා අස්වෙච්ච පළියට
Just because the chairman resigns, do not stop the investigation into the matter.
ඉදිරියට ගෙන යන්න ඕනේ.
Securities and Exchange Commission grants approval to transfer shares of the finance company to its original owners. A complaint lodged with the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery and corruption with regard to the transaction. What happened to the investigation?